It's a pleasure to be here with you.
So good to be with you, Will. I'm looking forward to our conversation.
Now, a lot has happened since last September. Can you talk to us a little bit about where the research and development is going?
Yeah, absolutely. So research at doTERRA over the last year has moved a number of mountains. We've got a few research partnerships that I'd like to highlight today that are really important to our future strategy at doTERRA. First is our research partnership with the University of Mississippi. The University of Mississippi has the National Center for Natural Product Research. As we discussed last year on stage, you got to meet Dr. Ikhlas Khan. This year, what I want to announce is some of the things that we've been doing with them that are really exciting. So this year, NCNPR and doTERRA are going to be publishing a study on the pharmacokinetic parameters of lavender oil and a chemometric analysis of what a quality lavender oil looks like.
Okay, I'll stop you right there.
Yeah, sure.
Chemometric analysis. Can you give me a little bit of...
So a chemometric analysis, it describes biochemically what's going on in an oil, and then it uses the different markers within that oil. So for instance, in lavender oil, linalool or linalool acetate, which are biochemical compounds within lavender, we can determine what a quality lavender oil should look like by examining lots of different lavender oils across the spectrum. So what we did biochemically to characterize it, or chemometrically to characterize it, is we take all of our lavender samples from all over the world where we grow our lavenders, and those lavender samples are then biochemically analyzed, and we create what is a fingerprint for a high quality lavender.
Great.
And so, yeah.
Just so I understand you correctly, you'll be able to tell after these analyses are done which lavender is the best to make the most potent, effective product that we can.
Exactly.
Oh, amazing.
So in effect what we've done, because nature, you know, where you grow your lavender matters, and if you grow it without...
That's what I always say.
That's what I always say. So it does though. So it turns out that if you don't give it enough water, you don't get the right biochemical fingerprint in the oil afterwards. If you don't have the right sunshine, you get a not good lavender out of the oil at the end of the distillation. So it really does matter. And because there's so much variability within lavender, nobody's ever gone to the trouble to try and define what a high quality lavender should look like. The major organizations in the world that set the standards, so like ISO or AFNOR, these standards, they're very wide.
Sure.
So you can have a lavender that we would characterize at doTERRA as a very poor quality lavender, which the standards would characterize as a good quality lavender or pure lavender.
And so essentially we'll have essentially scientific backing, if you will, to assert the quality of the oils, essentially.
Exactly. We're going to be characterizing lavender oil with the University of Mississippi School of Pharmacy and NCNPR to actually say what a high-quality lavender is, and doTERRA will be used as the gold standard upon which all other lavenders are measured. So to do that study, we took all of our lavender from all over the world, all of our fields, and brought it in. And then we went and purchased lavender out on the market, and we compared all of the lavenders to one another and came up with a much tighter way of defining what a high-quality lavender is. And then what the next step is, after we've done that, is now we give those lavenders internally to a large group of patients, and those patients then, we get their blood, look at their blood in the lab, and determine the amount of linalool in the blood so that we have essentially a perfect understanding of how we dose our lavenders. Because in the past, Will, when we've dosed lavender, we've used traditional method. Lavender oil's been around for hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of years. And our dosing regimens are built on that experience, but they've not gone through the rigorous method of determining dose that a drug would. But for us to take lavender, which is a very key strategic oil for us, down a pathway that will allow it to be used medically, we have to do this work. So we have to characterize, one, what a quality lavender is. We have to standardize that lavender so it's not widely, here's a good lavender, but they're totally different from one another. We have to tighten that up so that we can use it medically. And then we have to actually determine what the dosing regimen is, or therapeutic window. So the therapeutic window is something where you say, above this dose you get side effect, below this dose you don't get any effect. this therapeutic window is where the lavender is most effective. We don't want to get you side effects, and we want to give you benefit. And we don't know what that is until we do this type of work with a school of pharmacy like the University of Mississippi. So this partnership is critical for us moving forward. So that's kind of the story about what we're doing with NCNPR and the University of Mississippi. I'm really proud of that work. Dr. Khan and his team are phenomenal.
It's genuinely exciting. And I know you are also doing some work at St. Elizabeth's Hospital in the greater Cincinnati area. Can you give us some updates and insight on what you guys are doing there?
Absolutely. So later this fall, the cancer center, the hospital that they've been constructing for the last 5 years, will be complete. And the doTERRA Center for Integrative Oncology will open.
Wow.
We're very excited about that. We've been on several phone calls over the summer, over COVID, several Zoom calls and Teams calls. It's been kind of crazy, but we are really excited about the doTERRA Center for Integrative Oncology opening at St. Elizabeth's. That will allow cancer patients throughout that hospital to take advantage of multiple different modes of complementary medicine, including essential oils within that center. And it will all be done under the direction of an integrative medical specialist.
Wow.
And we will, at doTERRA, Dr. Brannick Riggs and myself and others will be training their medical staff and nursing staff on how to recommend essential oils to be used to complement and help them improve their experience as they go through their treatments.
What an amazing service to be able to provide for these people.
You remember last year when Dr. Flora came on stage and talked about how he put on deep blue incorrectly and turned himself into the Blue Man Group. So, poor guy. But in any case, Dr. Flora and I are really looking forward to this fall. It's going to be a major gift to that area, the greater Cincinnati area, where they have so much colon cancer, so much lung cancer. They're if you remember from last year, they have the highest rates of cancer in the United States for those two forms of cancer. And we will be right there helping them to improve their experience. And I'm proud of doTERRA's involvement there.
That's fantastic. So is that the only thing going on there? Or
Oh, no, actually.
I also heard they're doing another study there.
Yeah, they are. There's actually a big study going on. One of the nursing groups in the ICU are using lavender oil to improve, hopefully, the sleep patterns of those folks that are admitted to ICU. And we're studying as an outcome the patterns of sleep and whether patterns of sleep are improved with essential oil administration in an ICU setting. And that'll be a wonderful study when we get those results back later this year.
So it sounds like there's amazing work being done at these different institutions, but it seems like they're all leading in a very positive direction. Tell us about Roseman and what's going on there.
Yeah, Roseman is one of our oldest research partnerships. We're really proud of our involvement with Roseman and the scientists there. Dr. Tim Lee, who we've met and talked with, whose research we've looked at over the last several years, is continuing to advance our understanding of essential oils. His biochemical analysis has been incredibly useful as he's looked at cell lines, different cell lines, and how essential oils affect different cell lines and that we are most interested in. So last year we talked about adaptive, and this year there's going to be even more research coming out of Roseman that we can point to help us understand how essential oils affect us biochemically.
That's awesome. Just more information leads to, well, information is power, and so the more this science comes out and the oils are backed by science, it's better for everybody.
Yeah, I'm actually really pleased with where the research direction has taken us this year. We've also established some early relationships that I'm not really ready to fully name, but
That's exciting.
Institutions on the East Coast, institutions on the West Coast, and several institutions in Europe for whom we will be sponsoring efficacy trials with essential oils that will allow us to use essential oils more powerfully in our homes and with our families.
How do you choose these partnerships?
We have a research committee that Dr. Nicole Stevens, who was recently promoted to our director of clinical research at doTERRA, she chairs this committee. I sit on the committee with multiple other members of doTERRA's science team. And applications come in from around the world. We evaluate these applications for their scientific credibility and whether or not we feel like the folks proposing the work can do the work. And then if they can, then we end up funding some of this work. And it's been really a rewarding group to work with at doTERRA. I've really enjoyed working with Dr. Stevens. I love calling her Dr. Stevens as well. She won't say this, but Dr. Stevens worked incredibly hard on her doctoral degree in biochemistry over the last several years. And just this year, she defended her thesis successfully at the University of Miami, and we're really proud of her.
That's fantastic. And what a fun thing to be able to do, to find these partnerships that are going to all work together. Yeah.
Her thesis actually was on cinnamaldehyde and how it affects type 2 diabetics, or folks who are prone or in early stages of diabetes. And I'm so looking forward to working with her this upcoming year on advancing and taking the next step with her doctoral research and doing the studies that we need to move that understanding forward as well.
So what is the ultimate goal behind all of this research, and how does it affect the people that use these products in their everyday lives?
It's a great question, Will. I think that the way I would sum that up is to say that this research is a strategic imperative for doTERRA. It's how we differentiate ourselves from everyone else in the marketplace who tries to sell essential oils. We right now are the only company interested in investing heavily in this sort of work. It's not cheap. It takes time, and it's the only way that we are able to take our products and move them into more mainstream medical uses. So to do that, we have to leverage the power that science gives us around pharmacokinetics, dosing, and safety. That allows practitioners and all of us actually to use the products in our daily lives, in our homes, more effectively. So I think that when we talk about essential oil research, it's going to change this year. We're going to see publications coming out with doTERRA products as the headline of these major publications coming from major universities that will help us all understand how we can best use these products that we've come to know and love over the last 10, 11 years.
Dr. O, thank you so much for taking the time.
My pleasure, Will.